Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan with your Hollywoke hot take. And this is an article from Bounding into Comics. And they cover a bunch of things. They cover comics, they cover movies. So I'd like to drill down into this article a bit. Star Trek and Mission Impossible actor Simon Pegg on people critical of Black Lives Matter. Shut the F up. Man, I am so disappointed to hear that from Simon Pegg, but what are you going to do? I mean, everybody has their own opinions, but that seems to me particularly egregious, and here's why. To say shut the F up, you're essentially saying that Black Lives Matter is beyond criticism. Look, nothing is beyond criticism. Some things are just not run correctly. In my view, Black Lives Matter was an organic movement in the beginning. Now it's funneling millions of dollars into Act Blue, which is clearly for the Democrats. And that's a huge mistake in my view. Now you can argue, well, the Democrats are for black people and therefore it's all okay. Okay, that's an argument. I don't think it's a really good argument, but say there's certainly room for criticism there. Any organization is going to have problems. There's room for criticism. If you don't criticize it, it won't get any better. In fact, you're basically saying, okay, don't criticize it. It'll get worse. So imagine Simon was working on a movie and he saw, people doing something stupid in the Star Trek set, something that it didn't belong in the shot scene. And then when he pointed it out, they said, well, don't be critical. Shut the F up, Simon. It's not your place. I think later when the movie came out and there was a Starbucks cup sitting on the Enterprise, that would be a problem, right? So let's read a bit of the article, possibly all of it, because it's a pretty short article. Mission Impossible actor, Star Trek alum Simon Pegg has a simple message for those critical of Black Lives Matter. Shut the F up. The actor made his feelings clear while speaking in an interview with The Observer, the Sunday edition of The Guardian, which is pretty left-leaning, by the way. So this is really excerpts from that, I assume. When the discussion turns towards the continued lockdowns in the UK, Pegg mentioned the ongoing Black Lives Matter protests occurring in the country. He detailed to The Observer that he's been having meetings with Cephas Williams of 56 Black Men. I don't know what that is. I assume it's some sort of Black Lives Matter organization. The Observer Miranda Sawyer detailed that the meetings are, quote, to help make inroads for black performers, writers, and directors. Really? So Simon Pegg seems to be very interested in making inroads for black performers and directors. Well, let's look at Shaun of the Dead and the cast list. How many black faces? Now, some of the actors, they don't have pictures on the IMDb, but I can only find one actress on this list who was black out of all the actors on Shaun of the Dead. And there are quite a few because, a lot of them are zombies. That Trisha Goddard is the only black person in Shaun of the Dead. And I'm not sure. She plays herself in the movie. So, and she is a producer, an actress, and she hasn't been in a lot. Has she passed? I don't think she has. No, not according to IMDb. So, Shaun of the Dead, she was in 2004. I don't see any other projects with Simon Pegg attached. There's Doctor Who. Simon Pegg was in a Doctor Who episode, kind of as a cameo thing. I'm not seeing anything else. I mean, that's weird. It's weird. He seems so concerned about hiring writers and directors. Well, maybe he did on something else he worked on, right? This is the cast and crew from Hot Fuzz in 2007. And again, I don't see. Now, not all the pictures of all the actors are here, but the pictures that are here, there's quite a few of them. They all appear to be white. That's so weird. Um, you know, now I guess you could argue that Edgar Wright, who directs the movies that Simon um, what's his name? I already forgot his name. Not Martin Freeman. Who else is the other guy? Nick Frost. I couldn't think of his name. So, him and Nick, they started up, they came up together, right? And these are their movies. I mean, they're the big stars in this movie. They have to hold a lot of clout, I would figure, on those movies. If they wanted black performers and writers in this, I mean, Simon co-wrote the movie with Edgar. Is Edgar? He's not black. I don't think he is, right? No, he's white. Why? I don't understand. I mean, he's saying he wants to encourage black performers, writer, and in his past, in movies where he's a kind of a big wheel, I'm not seeing people of color here. It's so weird. It's so weird he would say that. It's almost as if he's posturing. But let's check The World's End. I don't know if you remember this movie. It wasn't bad. It's The World's End. Another, Nick Frost, Simon Pegg movie. This one was a little different, because it had some other people in it too. But again, I don't see any black actors in the cast list. Oh, wait, is this guy? I don't think he is. No, I'm not seeing him. Now, it's possible there are some other black cast members because the IMDb doesn't have pictures of everybody, but, there's none in the writing. I mean, no director. I mean, these were three pretty important projects for Simon's career. And, unlike, say, Star Trek and Mission Impossible, where he's, those are big Hollywood movies, he wouldn't have as much sway. But clearly on these movies, he would have, I would assume, much more clout to get people of color in. And yet, he didn't choose to do that. That's so weird, right? It's so weird that he seems so concerned. And so concerned that he tells people to shut the F up. He continued in the article, the film industry would be such a healthier, more interesting place if there were more voices, different stories, different experiences. It's so dominated by one particular voice of color of face, it just perpetuates a bland mono-voice cultural landscape, he added. I guess he didn't have a problem with that mono-voice cultural landscape in the past when he was up and coming. Now suddenly he's very concerned. Suddenly very concerned. I wonder what led him to be suddenly concerned. Could it be that everybody in Hollywood is jumping on this trend? Could it be that he's just posturing for now until this trend is over? And then he'll be on to something else? Could it be that, he just was making movies and connecting with the people who were nearby or in his circle and tried to make the best movie he could based on that and wasn't obsessed with race and gender? Could it just be that, Simon? Could it just be that you want to just make movies? Okay? Look, you don't have to listen to me. No one does. But this posturing is beneath you. It's beneath you. It really is. I know you're smarter than this. I know you are. You want to be like Mr. Image and be Mr. Star. Okay. You can go down this path, but it's not a good look. Because uh, we all know where this is headed. It's headed where The Simpsons now has to racially segregate the voice actors. We're headed towards a time where Hollywood would say, okay, for every 4 white cast members, we need 2 black cast members, 1 Asian cast member, 1 transgendered person. Intersectional feminism will keep dividing people over and over again. You'll never be woke enough. You'll never escape the mob. They will come to get you, Simon, eventually. It's just a matter of time before they reach you on the list, or you step out of line and they just decide to cancel your career. So that you're helping this along saddens me greatly. Yes, there are problems with the police and there is some racism in the world, but this movement has spiraled out of control in the United States. I'm not totally sure how it is in the UK, although I've seen quite a few videos. Doesn't look good. Does not look good. And this constant genuflecting to the left, you know, you got millions of dollars, man. You don't need to do this. You can be your own man. You can stand up to the woke crowd. You don't have to say anything, really. I mean, you could just be in movies. You could just go off and take your millions of dollars and make low-budget movies that everybody, I'm sure, will love. You don't have to do this. You don't have to politically posture. It's you know, I get it. You're kind of caught up in this, but you know, geek to geek here. Is this what Star Trek was about? You know, when they put a diverse cast together in Star Trek, that was risky. That was ballsy. You know, it hadn't happened before. When they put a Russian on the crew of the ship, that was a big deal in America. You know, now you're doing this posturing. Where's it going to end, man? Where's it going to end? Think about when you were coming up and struggling to make your voice heard. You got to remember those days. It's hard for everybody. You have to be amazingly talented. And you have to catch the right breaks, and you did. You don't have anything to apologize for in that area. You want to help people of color? I don't have a problem with that. But if you're only helping people of color because they're people of color, well, you should just help talented people, whether they're people of color or not. Whether they're black or Asian or Latino or white. That's the people you need to help along, right? I mean, think about all the people on your rise to fame who've just faded into the background. They don't act or write or do anything creative anymore. Maybe they weren't that good. You know, I did stand-up. Doing stand-up, man, you go to open mic nights and there are a lot of terrible comics. Some of them they're all different races. Do we have to enable the ones who are people of color just because they're people of color? I don't think so. It's a merit-based system. Talent is merit-based. I just think you really should rethink things and don't come out with these articles and these interviews. I mean, I know it's very trendy in The Guardian, but this wokeness is coming to an end, my friend. And you may be going down with the woke ship. So, I warned you.